So how are you guys doing today? I'm going to start by greeting you the way Muslims greet each other all around the world, and that's by saying Assalamu alaikum. And the response to that is Wa alaikum assalam.
It was important for us to go into schools to have an impact on the future generation of Americans and how they perceive Islam and Muslims.
Very good. So that's what I had on this first slide here.
Well, the 7th grade social studies curriculum is medieval world history, and the first unit that we do is the Islamic world, so the beginning of Islam and then the expansion of Islam. ING provides a connection to the present. Whenever you're teaching history, it's useful to make things relevant to kids, to things that are actually going on. And also with Islam being in the news so much and people developing stereotypes about Muslims and what they're like, I think it's great to have somebody who is actually a Muslim come in and say, here's what I believe in and here's the way we practice.
It's real important for us to make sure there's not even an appearance of doing anything improper in a classroom. So we try as much as possible to say Muslims believe this or Muslims practice this.
I wouldn't be comfortable with it if it was in any way proselytizing, but it's not. You know, I've seen their presentations in the past and they're not trying to promote Islam, they're just trying to promote tolerance by explaining what Islam is.
We believe ourselves to be very close to people who are Christian or people who are Jewish. Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, we feel, are very closely linked.
It's an opportunity to meet somebody who has actual experience with the thing that we're studying, and some of the kinds of questions that kids like to ask, sometimes we can't answer. Like one of the kids had asked me when we were talking about how you face Mecca when you pray, they said, well, what if you're in an airplane, and how do you know which way you face? And I said, that's a great question. That's something that you can ask our speaker when they come next week.
Yeah? Good question. So Muslims, as you know, don't eat pork and don't drink any kind of alcohol or take any kind of drugs.
The parts of the presentation that the kids seemed really sparked their interest were when, for instance, he showed them his prayer rug and he demonstrated how Muslims pray and stuff like that that's tangible rather than just, giving information verbally.
What we mostly try to accomplish is to bring the subject matter to life for kids, that this is real, that there are people out there that are practicing this religion, and they're good people.
Ideally, they'd learn about the religion, about Muslims as a people, as a culture, as a part of the fabric of American society.
If ING were not available, I'm not sure who would replace them. I'd had to buy curriculum materials, I may have had to bring in speakers that I had to pay for. None of this cost us anything. This is great stuff, and all we have to do is pick up the phone. We haven't had at our high schools any hate crimes or any issues that any family or any parent or any student has come forward with, and again, particularly since 9/11 in the entire school district. I think ING has played a direct and indirect role in that.
We also believe in Muhammad.
And we just want to let you know a little bit about where the community is right now in terms of post-September 11th.
Of all the different groups that we've done training with, we've kind of left the Muslim community out. And recently there's been certain things that have gone on locally as well as internationally that require us to go ahead and train our officers on how to respond to these people.
I think sort of a common thing we tend to do just as people in general is we stereotype because we don't know. When we don't know something, we just assume certain things about different cultures or lump them all into one. I understood Islam was a different religion. To me, it was something that was sort of in conflict with Judaism and conflicts in the Middle East.
I didn't personally know too much about Islam, and I think that I probably bought into the same stereotypes that are out there that are either pushed by the media or that just came my way.
Unfortunately, as you know, when we talk about the media does tend to focus on negative actions. And that is usually the context where you're going to see discussions about Islam and Muslims. And I'd just like to clarify that Islam actually condemns terrorism, which is a taking of innocent life.
I think there are stereotypes within the police department and within the community as a whole.
We try to give them tips on how to more effectively interact with Muslims. We advise them, and this is both to male and female officers, that when they interact with someone of the opposite sex, and they are practicing Muslims, that they try to avoid any kind of physical interaction, including even shaking of the hands, because that is something that many practicing Muslims do not feel comfortable with.
I think they gave practical solutions to some problems that officers might encounter in such regular street level contact, talked about different things that officers should refrain from doing and things officers should try to do. And I think whenever things are practical, it makes it easier for the officer to associate with their daily job.
And what this class helped was with some of the cultural expectations that Muslims would have of us when we come in. One of the things I think it would be a big difference for me, I've just been in police work now for 20 years, is the whole idea of maybe speaking to somebody of the same gender when I go in to handle a call. That if I need to talk to a gentleman about a call and I have maybe a male counterpart out there that's available, maybe have him conduct the interview with the gentleman and myself conduct the interview with the woman to make it more comfortable for them. That in showing a little respect for their customs and cultures, I think will gain more cooperation and trust.
I think this training will be excellent to prepare them for these types of contacts. Be it a traffic stop, be they be a witness or victim or suspect in a crime.
Just building trust with the community is really important for us. It's a whole basis of policing has switched now from not just enforcement but building police-community partnerships. I think that's what this class has helped us learn.
The prayer beads are similar to rosary beads, and the Quran is similar to the Bible and so forth. And the faith is so similar, and yet sometimes, for whatever reason, we don't always get along as well as we should. We ought to really focus on how much we're alike than how much we're different.
That's actually true. No.
I think today was the best cultural diversity training we've ever had, and we've tried to do cultural diversity for the last 12, 13 years. And we got it right today.